since we do have a lot of people on right now. Thanks everybody for...
Thanks, Heather. Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. Just a little bit about myself. I teach 9th grade English at Salmon River Central School, and I have about 120 to 130 students each year. So this staying organized thing is really big for me just because I have so many papers coming in and out. A lot of what I'm going to talk to you about tonight is web-based, and there are things that I teach my students as well. So I'm pretty sure that everything I show you guys, you're going to be able to pick right up if my 9th graders can do it. So if you have any technical questions when I get through, you can either ask me on here or email me anytime, and I'll give you my contact info at the end. So without further ado, my first tip is streamlining your scheduling. I don't know about you guys, but I find, with so many different obligations, I always have a hard time making sure that I'm where I need to be when I need to be there. I find that at events, when we want people to book, we always want to be able to hand over a piece of paper to a guest. It's not like you can just hand them your cell phone and be like, oh, okay, put the date in my calendar. So I always have a paper calendar and a pencil for events. And I always circle my open dates in bright purple pen. So when I'm handing them my little calendar, they have no doubts whatsoever about when I'm available. And I always hand them a pencil because there's some, kind of mental thing where they want to use a pencil because it doesn't seem as permanent as using a pen. So after they pick their date, I will immediately then put that in my Google Calendar on my phone. And I'm going to talk so much about Google stuff tonight because I love it and it all works together. What I like about my Google Calendar is I can access it on my phone, on my iPad, on my work computer, on my husband's phone. So anywhere you have internet access, you can access your Google Calendar. And I've also shared it with my husband, so he doesn't have to do that thing where he texts me at noon to ask if we can go out to dinner with our friends, because he just looks at the calendar and he knows whether or not I have a wine tasting. So it streamlines not only my business scheduling, but also just my personal scheduling as well. So my next thing here is tasting sets. So the picture that you're looking at is one half of my wine fridge. And Gina, I hope you're on here tonight because I'm kind of picking on you a little bit. I've heard so many things about Gina's beautiful wine office, and I'm really jealous because I don't have a whole room in my house I can devote to wine. So, I have I'm mixing tasting sets in with my personal wine, and I always get scared that I'm going to accidentally drink something that I shouldn't be drinking. I don't know if any of you guys have done that. So what I do is if it's mine, I put a smiley face on the top of the foil in silver Sharpie, and if it's a tasting set and it's going to a specific host, I'm going to put their initials on it. And I've told my friends the same thing. So when my friends come over and we get to drinking and they go to the wine fridge, they know, okay, we're only allowed to drink the smiley faces. And then I never have to worry about, oh, Santa Regia is missing, I can't bring it to so-and-so's tasting. The other thing that I found is that it makes it really easy if you're on the go trying to pack your bag or your cooler or whatever on the way out to a tasting. If you're like me, you second guess yourself. Do I have everything? What did I forget? So this helps you as far as making sure you're bringing the right wines with you to every event. Okay, so Google Drive is going to be a lot of what I talk about because its capabilities are endless. So if you guys don't have Google accounts, I would say right now, first thing, as soon as you hang up from this call, you need to go make one. So even if you don't have a Gmail account, you're allowed to. You can have Google accounts that are at somethingelse.com. So I even have a school account that's at srk12.org, but it still functions with Google Drive. I see a lot of people always talking about, oh, I can't open that file because I don't have Microsoft Word, or, oh, I don't want to pay for Microsoft Office. If you use Google Drive, you don't have to. It's 100% free. There's a crazy amount of storage. I've been using it for years, and I've never run out of storage. So this is something that, you're not making an investment. You can create, upload, download any type of file, PDF, Word, Excel. The PowerPoint you're looking at right now isn't PowerPoint, it's Google Slides, and that all works together seamlessly. It saves instantly. So I told you guys that I teach 9th grade English. I hear a lot of, oh, the computer deleted it, or, oh, I forgot my flash drive. Google doesn't do that. It saves every single keystroke. So you don't have to worry about working hard on something and then having to be pulled away by the dog or the kids or the phone and losing what you have. You can share everything you do on Google Drive with anybody you want, anybody that has a Google account. So when I was planning this presentation, I shared it with both Heather and Nicole, so they were able to look at it and give me feedback. The other thing is, I hear some people talking about how the Traveling Vineyard website is blocked at work. I know, Kate, you talk about that a lot, and you're always kind of like sneaking around on your phone. It's kind of funny. I work at a school, and it's not blocked for me. So anyway, Google Drive won't be blocked. So any of your necessities, the things you have to have on a regular basis, if you keep them in Google Drive, you never have to worry about not being able to access them. So top 10 things that if you're like, oh, I like this Google Drive thing, I'm going to start one, I'm going to start using this right away. These are my suggestions for the top 10 things I think you should include in it right away. When we order tasting sets, I always save those PDFs because I send them to my hosts or I reference them when I create my wine tasting guides. I always save copies of the PDFs right to my Google Drive. We always know when they, move things to the vault or maybe the website's down, we can't access the PDFs, and then everyone's like, oh, what do I do? So if you save those PDFs as soon as you order the tasting set, you're always going to have it. Another thing I would put in there is Mrs. Wow tasting or Wow pairings doc and pairing cards. And every time she uploads a new one of those to the Grapevine, I update mine in my Google Drive. I would also put in there the document with Lori Stryker's host coaching wording. She just did that presentation for the winos that we were so fortunate to be able to listen in on. And that's something that I took personally, and I kind of put my own spin on it. And I save all of that in a Google Doc. So now whether I'm on my iPad or my phone or my laptop, I can go into that document, and all I have to do is copy and paste. So I'm not reinventing the wheel every time. I put everything that I use for vendor events in one folder. So if you do little slips that people put prizes on, their info for a raffle, or if you're doing, like if someone books a tasting from me, I give them a little packet with more info. All that stuff is in one folder in Google Drive, so the night before the vendor event, if I need new copies, I'm not searching everywhere to find it. All my financial information is in my Google Drive, and I'll show you some of that in the next couple slides. Wine tasting guide template. I'm kind of cheap when it comes to what I want to use for paper and ink, so I don't use the one that the company gives us. Instead, I use a double-sided one, so I get 2 per page. So I keep that template in my Google Drive, and then I can easily alter it for every tasting and just change out the wines. I also keep wording for various Facebook posts in here. So you guys know we're always on Facebook, our personal page, our business page, our events, all that stuff. I find that, all those reminders are going to be the same from tasting to tasting. So I just keep them in here and then pull them into TinyTorch or into Facebook when I need them. I always keep my my team building stuff in one folder too. So anything you think like, oh, I'm going to want to send that to a lead, put that in a folder. So if you say to a lead, okay, I'm going to send you this information, you want to be prompt about it. If it's in that folder, then you don't have to go digging around for it. Another thing that I like to have in mind is trainings for new team members. We always see on the Grapevine that people are tagging each other and things. If we use Google and we share things with each other, if you put them in one shared Google Drive, everybody can access it. And you can just say, okay, go to that folder, and there it is. And you're not searching through files and files and files on the Grapevine. And the last thing I always keep in my Google Drive is that legal info that we have to know, like our policies and procedures and the map of states we do business in. So that's like you can't access, if you can't access your tasting room at work, then you have everything right there that you need to know. Okay, so more Google Drive stuff. So I mentioned that I keep track of my expenses. So what you're seeing here is a picture of a Google spreadsheet. It functions exactly the same as Excel. And this is my mileage spreadsheet. So you'll see that I have the date, where I went, why, the trip, and then it actually totals the miles for me by itself. So I just put in the equation, and you can Google any equation you want. And it'll tell you, like if you search it, it'll tell you what equation to use. And I put it here so I don't actually have to do the math by myself. And then when it came time to do my taxes this year, I just print this and I'm done. If you forget to add mileage and you get somewhere, you can do this on your phone. So if you're someone that you're not so good at keeping track of this sort of stuff, if you download the app on your phone, as soon as you get there, you can put it in. As far as my business expenses, I also keep digital copies of receipts in the same folder as this spreadsheet. So I just ordered new business cards from Vistaprint. I know that those are a tax write-off. So I save the Vistaprint email as a PDF, and then I just put it in the folder. So that way, if there's ever a question or I need it for tax purposes, I have everything I need digitally right there. More Google Drive. I hope I'm not going too fast for you guys. There's just so many things that I want to tell you about, and I know that not everything's going to be for everyone. So if there's something I went through really quickly and you want more info, please message me or ask questions when we're done, and I'd be glad to help you get it set up. One of the things that I love most about Google Drive is that it has sharing capabilities. So you have the option of sharing single documents with people, or you have the option of sharing this whole huge database with multiple folders with people. So like I said earlier, I shared the individual file of this presentation with Nicole and Heather. What you're looking at right here is a file within my drive called Traveling Vineyard Info, and you can see the people that I've shared it with. So if you see like the picture of the dog, and then you see my wine baby Ashley, and then you see some initials, those are all the people that I've shared it with. You can decide whether those people can edit the stuff, comment on the stuff, or if they're allowed to just look at it. So if there's certain things that you want to be able to tweak, but maybe other people don't need to, then you can just say. It's also nice that if someone else goes out and they find something really nice, they can add it to the drive. So we're eliminating this tagging and trying to find things on Facebook because everything's right here in a nice, easily accessible way. And it eliminates, when people get frustrated and they get down on their business and I don't know what to do. There's so much information right here that's handy. If you get a call from someone, you can say, okay, just open that folder and find this document, and there it is. Go out in a way that's more organized. Okay, done with Google Drive for now. So TinyTorch, I know that some of you are already using this. This is something that I started using right after I started with the company because Summer was posting about it in the grapevine. This is a totally free service that lets you schedule posts to Facebook accounts, groups, and events. So even with my free account, it'll let me schedule in up to 5 different Facebook entities. So if I have, say, 5 events scheduled for the month of March, I can be posting in them all the time without me actually sitting down and posting in them. So you don't actually have to remember the day of the event to post that it's the day of the event. So what you can do is take an hour or less once a week, and using TinyTorch, you can set up what your posts are. Now, like, my day of reminder is the same for every event. I'm just going to change the time, and I'm going to change the host's name. So TinyTorch saves these things for you. So you don't have to go in and type up the same thing, or you don't have to keep adding the same picture. So you can save the posts that you use frequently and then just edit and schedule them as necessary. I find that the Facebook thing can get overwhelming, and just learning this really simple system is a really easy way to make sure that all of your bases are covered and that you're guest coaching appropriately. And that's another thing that came from Lori Stryker's training that she did for us with the Winos team. And she talked a lot about how she uses a Facebook event for. This is the best way to take that verbiage that Lori gave us and start using it immediately, is by using TinyTorch and scheduling the posts when you need them. So that's all I have. I hope I didn't go too fast, but I can make this presentation available to you guys if you need it, when you need it. And my email's there, and you can find me on Facebook and message me if you have any questions about anything that I went over. Thank you, Heather and Nicole, for having me present, and I hope that you guys took something from that.
And Kari, we'll open it up for questions if you don't mind. Are you okay with that?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, if anybody has a question, go ahead and raise your hand on the thing and I can unmute you, or you can type a question at the bottom. Okay, I'll give you guys a couple more seconds if you have any questions. Okay, looks like Melody has one. So I'm going to unmute Melody for just a second, and Melody can ask the question. Hey, Mel, are you with us?
I am. That TinyTorch, is that just download it right from the internet? Or is that an app or?
No, it's not even an app. It's just a website you're going to go to and log into.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
So just tinytorch.com, and it's going to tie to your Facebook account. And then if you're creating events from your Facebook profile, then you're able to connect to those events and schedule things within them.
Oh, great. Thanks. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, looks like we have one more question. Susan McDonald's got one. I will unmute Susan. Susan, can you hear us?
I don't have anything to say.
Oh, you've got a question mark up by your name. Okay, thanks, Susan. Anybody else have a question or raise their hand or put a question mark up? I'll give you guys 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So thanks, Kari. We did record this session, so I will switch it over to Heather real quick so Heather can say the final goodbye to all of us. Okay, Heather, you're live.
All right, I think I'm live. All right, well, thanks everybody for dialing in. Stay tuned for, and thanks, Kari. That was a great job. I learned a lot. I didn't realize all the functionalities that Google Drive has. So stay tuned for our next call, which will be later in March, as I'm going to be away for the first 2 weeks in March. So stay tuned for that. And as Nicole said, this session was recorded, so we'll get that out to everybody, as well as the PowerPoint slides. So thanks for dialing in.